Hi, I'm Nick Earl. I'm the Senior Vice President for Cisco Systems based over in Europe, and I run the services business for Europe, as well as responsible for our global top 25 customers. And thank you for attending Cisco-sponsored Sustainability Summit today. What I'm going to talk to you about in the next 35 minutes or so is how we believe you can leverage the network to drive not only business innovation, but also real sustainability. I'm going to be using several case studies using both Cisco and many of our customers. But first of all, let's start off with a view of the world that we all recognize. I mean, this is our life today. The fact is that everything has speeded up. We're being asked to do more with less, particularly in the economic environment, but we're getting bombarded with information. We're being asked to go quicker and quicker and quicker and make quicker decisions, and we're really all struggling balancing work with our personal life and just getting everything done. And from a business perspective, there's a huge impact in this. The business models are fragmenting, supply chains are fragmenting. We need closer relationships with customers and partners. We're being told that our time to market is slow. We need to bring products out quicker, but at the same time, the IT budget is already stretched. Are we missing opportunities? Are we really concentrating on customer satisfaction? And from the IT group, they're saying, well, it's all very well running the business the way it is, but what you're now asking me is to open up my architecture and let my users access the same applications at home as they do at work. In fact, in many cases, it's the other way around. The users are saying, I want the same applications I have at home to be able to be accessed through work. And the third set of pressures that we're getting is, of course, the green pressures, the pressures from a sustainability point of view. And it's not just from an altruistic perspective, but we're really asking ourselves, can we truly save energy? Can we actually cut our consumption costs of energy? Can we make a significant dent in our travel? Can we actually grow and at the same time be green, comply with government directives, reduce our heating and cooling in key areas such as our data center, and reduce our emissions? And that's what I want to talk to you about over the next few minutes, which is how do you get this balance of both sustainability from a green perspective and the investment required for business innovation. And at Cisco, we firmly believe this is possible. So let's talk about what we've been doing in Cisco. Now, first of all, we're a great believer in reports such as this. The Smart 2020 report, which you may be familiar with, it talked about how ICT could not only reduce its own green footprint, its carbon footprint, but reduce global emissions by up to 15% by 2020. That's 5 times the footprint of IT. IT has got about a 3% effect on emissions and global footprint, but the report said that IT could affect the rest of the emissions and reduce the overall total by up to 15%. Now, within Cisco, we realized that in order to do that, this isn't just a case of installing new components with more efficient power units in, for example. What you've really got to do is look at the business model and the business processes. So what we've done is over the course of the last decade, we've moved our business model from essentially a command and control mechanism to one where our business model is based on collaboration. This is what we call boards and councils, and we're running the company around boards and councils in a much more efficient way than the old command and control system. And our CEO, John Chambers, talked a lot about the productivity effect of running in a collaborative way through these boards and councils. But it also has an effect on the IT side. Quite frankly, when you go to a collaborative business model, you can't go for the Uber application strategy. You can't say, hey, I'm the big guy, I'm going to implement, let's say, SAP, therefore everybody else in my ecosystem has to implement SAP to communicate with me. The number of people you're having to communicate with is fragmenting. You don't always know who they are in advance. You can't go for the Uber application strategy. So the network plays a pivotal role in becoming the new IT architecture because it's the one common thing that touches everything, no matter what technology all of the different players in the ecosystem have implemented. And to be specific of what we've seen from a productivity point in Cisco over the last few years as we've implemented this new business model is we've moved from a command and control where we'd have one priority per year, for instance, let's grow our switching business, to in the middle of the decade where we said, now we can have a priority, but also two adjacencies, which might be and additionally get market leadership in voice or security or wireless, to now where John Chambers is saying, now we're going after 30 adjacencies. That's 30 new market opportunities using collaboration, boards, councils, and working groups, where we've now got 2,500 people working on these initiatives, whereas previously perhaps we had 10 senior executives, and 30 areas that we believe could become billion-dollar businesses for us. So this business model has totally transformed Cisco, and in turn is requiring a new IT architecture, which in turn is much more green than the previous one. In fact, we can measure the success of the new business model. We can see that not only has our turnover increased, as you see in the top, but in the blue section, you can see that we've made an annual expense rate reduction of $1.5 billion and been able to turn $500 million of that into new investment in the top 5 of those adjacencies. So in other words, we've been able to take $1 billion out and reinvest $500 million as a result of this new business model and the new IT architecture that supports it. But at the same time, we've been able to measure a huge impact in our green footprint. Just taking 4 different areas, the way that we're working together and collaborating, we've seen over a period of FY06 to FY09, 42% increase in Cisco's worldwide headcount. But we've only seen a 5% increase in our overall travel. In fact, one of the examples I'll share with you later on is that we've just on one event saved 63 million miles, or one implementation of technology saved 63 million miles of our employees driving. The way that we're implementing technology inside our buildings and what we call our connected workspaces is saving us 44% in electricity and another 44% in the load that we need for cooling our servers and our data centers. The one event, our global sales meeting, which used to be physical and is now virtual, just like this thing that you're all now watching, saved us 85,000 tons of emissions just with one event alone, and all of our events are going